Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Yeah, hey, we are back in the building, and there's good internet. Thank God. We got a lot to get to from today's practice. Lot of offensive line concerns. Got to talk about all the concerns around this offensive line. Did the Chicago Bears do enough? We've been talking about this topic all offseason, and today is kind of interesting when you hear how today's practice went down. So we'll talk about that. Also, got to look at some of the different things around this team that we saw today. Caleb Williams, how he played, what we want to see in this upcoming preseason game versus the Buffalo Bills. Do we need to see guys play? How much do we need to see guys play? All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. And of course, your comments as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Jay Capone in the chat. Daniel Barry in the building, man. Appreciate y'all for showing love on the YouTube side. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. If you're on the Twitter side, hit that retweet button, man. Appreciate y'all showing support. The offensive line is in shambles. Let's start there. That's what we take away from practice today. I mean, Bears in walkthroughs had an offensive line of Braxton Jones, Teven Jenkins, Ryan Bates, Nate Davis, and Matt Pryor. Darnell Wright was out there, but he was not in pads. Don't know what the situation or the severity on Wright is right now. But the starting lineup, when Caleb Williams went out there with the first team offense, due to some injuries, had some changes. Braxton Jones was out there at left tackle still. Jerome Carvin got left guard snaps. Ryan Bates was at center. Bill Murray ended up being out there at right, and Matt Pryor at right tackle as he was in the beginning. Nate Davis apparently went walkthrough with the first team offensive line, but then ended up not sure if it was by design or if it was, they end up pulling him out because something happened there, but he left the field during offensive line and defensive line drills. He went over to talk to the trainers, took his pad off, took his pads off, put his jersey back on, and basically just hung around the training room. Don't know if he was limited or if he was if this was a planned take him out of practice situation. But I mean, dog, like, here's what's tough about this. And then, Teven Jenkins, let me get through it. I'm so ready to do certain things, right? Teven Jenkins end up leaving the field with the athletic trainers after stretching. So, of course, some of the question marks there that are surrounding him. Jatir Carter got in a little bit as well, but he also ended up leaving drills for a little while. And here's the problem. Here's where I have the question. Did the Chicago Bears do enough? You brought in a new quarterback. You brought in new wide receivers. You brought in a new running back. You've brought in multiple options. You brought in multiple options, multiple weapons. I love that you brought these weapons in. But let's have a real conversation here. We're not talking about things that are new. We're not talking about things that are different. This looks like the same situation that you put Justin Fields in last season. And yeah, there's a reason, right, that people are like, well, it's time to move on from Justin Fields. He's the one putting the offensive lineman in this situation. Well, the O-linemen haven't changed. And the situation seems to be remaining the same. And guess what? When you didn't have your starting offensive lineman out there were a ton of problems at practice today. Big shock. When your starting offensive linemen weren't out there, it didn't look good for the offense. Big shock. We're all so incredibly surprised by this. I'm not. How long have I been talking about you need to fix things on the offensive line? You need to address things on the offensive line. There's too many ifs. How many answers do you have? Somebody tell me in the chat, how many answers do you have on this offensive line right now? Teven Jenkins is a question. If he's healthy, you feel strongly about what Teven Jenkins can do. Nate Davis is a question. If Nate Davis is healthy, you feel like Nate Davis can be a key contributor to this team. Your center position is the same conversation we've been having for 3 years. Once again, Let me know if this sounds familiar. You've got a guard that you brought in that you want to move over to center because you feel like he's better at playing center than he is at playing guard, even though he didn't play as much guard or didn't play much center on the team that he was previously on. But you're also going to bring in a guy who's kind of a center, who's played some center. He's not a phenomenal center. But you feel like, hey, at least we've got a solid piece there. Neither of them can snap the football and shotgun. Both of them are having struggles out there getting the football and shotgun back to the quarterback. And oh, by the way, we don't even know if they're really that great at the position yet. Now, am I talking about Ryan Bates and Coleman Shelton, or am I talking about Lucas Patrick and Cody Whitehair? And this frustrates me as a Bears fan. This frustrates me as a Bears fan because I feel like in so many different senses, and I'm not here to crush Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles has done a phenomenal job, but in so many different senses, we have learned from our mistakes. But then there's this group of things that feels like it should be the most important things in our life as a football offense that we keep going, we'll figure that out later. And it continues to be on the offensive line. You've got ifs every position except maybe right tackle. Oh, by the way, the guy at right tackle is a problem. Or I'm sorry, not a problem. The guy at left tackle is a problem. The guy at right tackle wasn't healthy today. You got to find answers. And to me, finding answers also includes having to go out there and actually put people on the field to make plays. Actually try working these guys together. Actually try starting to make decisions on, okay, this is going to be, because guess what? You're in a bad situation where Teven Jenkins probably is going to be a guy who's going to be injured for you. You're in a bad situation where Nate Davis is probably not going to be healthy for you. So right now, with the additions that you made, start putting those guys in there. Start letting them get their work in. They want the dream scenario, right? We know what the dream scenario is. Ryan Bates is the starting center. How much center has Ryan Bates played? I'm not talking about previously. I'm talking about this year. How much center has Ryan Bates played in pads? You want Ryan Bates to be the starting center, and yet we haven't seen him utilized as a starting center very much at all this season or this preseason or this training camp. But we don't want to play our starters. Like, it's mind-blowing to me that we're not having, name me the different conversation that we're having on offensive line. Name me the change that you see, not from this year. Let's go back from Mitch. From when Mitch Trubisky was here, name me the different conversation that we're having right now. And this is why seeing this today flusters me. This is why seeing this today gets under my skin. By the way, over 100 in the chat. Nah. Baki was good, my guy. This is why getting in this situation flusters me, because this is the conversation the Chicago Bears always have when they put something solid together. This is the conversation that the Chicago Bears always have when we're trying to develop something. We got all these pieces in place that should make everything perfect, and it should have everything be concrete, and we should be good to go. And at the end of the day, this guy might end up getting his head taken off. And it's not because he's going to hold the ball too long. It's not because he's not going to get the ball out quick enough. It's because the football may not get to him in a quick enough manner. It's because he may have to take time out of the running an actual play on an offensive line that may struggle a little bit. To actually try and catch the football and then make a play out of something. That's where my problem comes in with where the Chicago Bears are right now. That's why, to me, this offensive line is in shambles. And that's why we're going to continue to see these problems until we start to address it. I give Ryan Poles credit for everything that he's done. I've never sat here and said that Ryan Poles is moving the wrong way. But I will call you out when for some reason the position that you played is the least addressed position on this team. Now, I also give him credit for last year not going out and spending a ton of money on bad players. A lot of the guys that were out there did not have good seasons. Orlando Pace Jr., Mike McGlinchey, those were guys that were getting killed out there. I commend you for that. But you didn't address probably your biggest need in this draft outside of, I guess, in your opinion, quarterback until the 4th round on a guy from Yale who I hope is solid, who I wanted the Bears to draft as well. I got a couple of mock drafts up there where I said the Bears should go after Karan Amageji, but who, let's be honest, you're hoping that he has a Braxton Jones type of ascension his rookie year. I'm not a big believer that Mitch Trubisky could have turned into a quarterback, but I am a believer that Ryan Pace did not put him in the best position to develop in. Now, Caleb's in a leaps and bounds better spot with the weaponry that he has. But I'm also the person that sits there and says Jay Cutler could have been a nice quarterback if you didn't freaking stick what was it, Jamarcus Webb? Jamarcus Webb out there at left tackle. This is a conversation we continue to have. This is a situation that the Bears continue to be in, and they're not different. And then we expect different results. That's where my concern comes in. That's where I'm looking at, and I'm saying, man, I don't know if this is going to end up working out in the Bears' favor. That's where a lot of Bears fans have their apprehension at now. With better weapons on the field, with better players on the field, you're going to have better opportunities. It is what it is. It's going to happen. When you've got Keenan Allen, when you've got DJ Moore, adding Rome Odunze in there, right? When you have all those things, I like the video if you agree, you're going to be a better football team. And I think that the Bears are still going to have a solid season. I'm not sitting here telling you that the Bears are going to be, 3-13 again because all of a sudden, the offensive line has some concerns. I think that they'll be able to navigate them a little bit more. But I just like it irritates me when you see those concerns that people say, well, you got a bunch of things that you got to fix. Yeah. But addressing that, giving a young quarterback time is the one thing that is going to benefit a young quarterback. And literally, the offensive line is just hope. The entire offensive line is a hope group. I hope Teven Jenkins is healthy for 17 games. I hope Nate Davis can actually get out there and stay out there for a full practice. I hope Ryan Bates can become a starting center. And not just a starting center, but a long-term answer at the center position. I'm tired of putting guys out there behind lines built on hope. I'm tired of seeing quarterbacks go out there behind lines built on hope. And then we expect the world from them. And by the way, I don't know if I said this in here at all yet, but like Ryan Bates struggled snapping the football already in shotgun. Today, there was a fumbled snap. And again, you can sit there and say, well, of course, right? There, you know what I mean? Like there's there's this hodgepodge of guys that you're putting together. And so, of course, it's going to be a little discombobulated in the beginning. You put the hodgepodge together. The hodgepodge is what you put faith in. It's a hodgepodge of guys because of what you put out there. These guys didn't just magically show up one day and just say, hey, anybody trying to play offensive line for the Chicago Bears? Oh, I'll play. I got a little time. This is what you put on the field after seeing the struggles that a bad offensive line and a bad center had with a young quarterback last season. It's been my major concern the entire offseason. I think it's been most Bears fans' major concern the entire offseason, and it will continue to be most Bears fans' major concern until we actually see it get out on the field. And then, and on top of all of that, you then have the nerve to say, well, we don't got to play these guys. You then have the nerve to say, well, we don't got to see these guys out in the practice or out on in preseason, or it's OTAs. It's not as important for them to be out here right now, or it's training camp, right? We're not worried about it until pads come on. And then the pads come on. It's like, oh, well, we're not that worried about it until we get the real game. Like, when are you going to worry about it? When Caleb Williams is picking his head up off the floor? Is that when we're going to worry about it? Somebody let me know. Maybe I'm the one that's overreacting here. But I've been watching this same story for 20 years. Some of you have been watching it longer than that. We've been watching this same story play out this way for 20 years. Every single time we're like, oh, here, we got this offense. Here we go. Okay, we're going to figure this out. They got the guys. Here it is. Oh, he's dead. And then we're surprised by it. And then we want to blame the quarterback for not being able to make the pass. Oh, you got to see that. Well, it's tough to see when your helmet's turned sideways. Then we want to blame the coach. Well, why ain't the coach calling different plays? Well, you know, it doesn't really matter what you call when there's a three technique sitting on your lap. We've been watching this forever. And so for me, listen, it's the answer's out there. In my opinion, the answer's out there. You have no choice. Because at this point, you're not building the concern around going out and getting a guy like Connor Williams was what? Well, he's not going to be able to play until week 1, and you're going to have you're not going to have a chemistry with Caleb Williams built up by week 1. And so, you know, do you really want to go out and get that guy and have him kind of try and come in and figure it out? Yes. Because you know what doesn't have a chemistry? The guy who's been playing starting center for most of the time in pads, who's been out there, he didn't play starting center today. Ryan Bates played starting center today. Oh, by the way, Ryan Bates isn't a starting center. You're trying to make him one. But he don't need to practice there. He doesn't need all the reps he can get. Go get Connor Williams. The answer's there. The answer is, if I have to pick one or the other, go get Connor Williams. I wanted the opposite defensive end. I wanted to have that guy that can also go get Connor Williams. You need a center. Adam, you need answers. You don't have answers. You've got a line of question marks. You got a line of 4 ifs, and if it was a fifth, they all playing like they drunk. I've seen enough of it. I get it. There's a lot of training camp left, Pat. There's still preseason to see, Pat. No, it's not. We've seen this. Why are we playing? Why are we joking? Why are we pretending? Don't lie to yourself. Believe what you see. You saw this last year. You saw this 2 years ago. You saw this 3 years ago. You saw this 4 years ago. Why are you lying to yourself? Why are you lying to yourself? You can pretend all you want that these guys are going to magically turn into the players that you want them to be. But at some point, you got to tell the truth. At some point, you got to look at the offensive line that's in front of your young quarterback and go, I don't think it's good. Because they're doing the same things as bad offensive lines that we've been watching our entire freaking lives. This isn't different. This isn't new. This isn't a change. And I'm not sitting here telling you that that Connor Williams isn't a risk. He's coming off of a bad knee injury. You're hoping that he can come back. He's not going to be available for most of training camp. That is a risk. But at least it's a risk for a dude who was playing at an all-pro level at center. And then if you get to your backup center, it's like, well, he's got the backup center in there. It's fine. At least if you're taking a risk on a dude who was one of the best in the game at his position. Because the risk you're taking right now is that Caleb Williams is going to be picking his teeth up off of the ground. If I got to spend money anywhere else this offseason, it's to go get Connor Williams. I'm sorry. I understand it. I get it. I get the risk, but I'm risking it for something that was great versus risking it for something that is, one, unknown in Ryan Bates, and two, mediocre in Coleman Shelton. I love it. Like it's in us as Bears fans. We always want to think the best of people. Once you become a Bear, I swear, it's like, you're my guy. We're going to get you there, brother. Don't worry about it. Like the video if you agree. You're my dude. You're going to turn into something that no other NFL coach has been able to turn you into in your entire NFL career. That's what happens when you come play for the Bears. It's not happening, guys. It's not happening. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, man. John commented in and said, Bears 18 different O-line combinations in the last 2 years. How many different O-line combos this season? I was going to say 18 in the last 2 years, my guy. We've seen 18 in training camp. We've seen 18 different combinations in training camp. What are you talking about the last 2 years, my guy? Connor could be another Nate Davis, constant injury and sucking up $10 million a year. Well, here's the difference between Connor and Nate Davis. One, Nate Davis, when on the field, has always kind of been this player. And the Bears took a chance on him, right? But he's always been this guy. He's being the exact same guy that they believed he was in Tennessee. Connor Williams, maybe he does become a little more injury prone, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a big believer in paying injured big guys. But I think you've put yourself in a position where you really don't have a choice at this point. I don't think that big guys go out there and consistently get healthier once the injuries start piling up, but knee is a little bit different. Connor Williams, more times than not, has been one of the healthier guys, at least over the last 3 years, right? Played 16 games in Dallas, 17 games in Dallas, 17 games in Miami as the starting center. This season, he ended up playing 9 games. Last season, he ends up playing 9 games. So he's somebody who's kind of been able to be injured and bounce back from it. I understand the risk that's there, but the risk is I'm betting on a guy who, when he was healthy, was one of the best centers in the NFL versus a middle of the pack right guard. So yeah, I get it. It's a risk. It's absolutely a risk. But it's a risk worth taking because if that risk is in there, it is an answer. It's not if, right? With Nate Davis, it's multiple issues, right? With Teven Jenkins when healthy is an answer, right? The if is he healthy? With Nate Davis, there's so many ifs on there. It's amazing he's sober. If he's healthy, if he blocks well, if he has good technique, maybe the quarterback doesn't die. You got layers of ifs on that one. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I feel like this is the greatest solution going out and getting a guy like Connor Williams. But I do think that at least if you go out and get something of that ilk of player, you can get yourself back to the draft where then you feel like, okay, and I don't expect the Bears to go out and win the Super Bowl this year either. I expect their win total to go up, but I don't expect them to go out and win the Super Bowl. Fight your way into a playoff spot, get in the playoffs, try and do something. We'll see what ends up happening there. But get back to the draft. That's where you're going to address it. That's where you're going to finally be able to. This is the first season they're actually going to be able to address their needs. Or I guess more so, more specific needs. And you feel like you can address quite a few of them, right? Because you can go into the draft this year, not trade any of the picks, and you can have 3 players in your first 2 rounds, right? First round pick, multiple second round picks, and a third round pick maybe. You can address the line if you want to. Or you can package things, move up, and get 2 at a better line, right? Like you're not that far away, but I just love the people. I keep hearing this. Give me a second. I'm going to take a drink here. I keep hearing this. The Bears' offensive line was not that bad. Justin Fields just didn't let go of the ball. I keep hearing it. Well, Justin Fields ain't out here no more. We got a new quarterback. Very excited. Very ready to see him play. We got different questions. We just played our first preseason game. Are the questions different? Are there answers to the questions from last season? Is there any position on this team this year that you feel better about than what you had last year? Y'all tell me in the chat. Y'all tell me. Is there any position that you were worried about last season on this offensive line that you feel better about? Because I don't. I felt solid about Ryan Bates and Coleman Shelton coming into the season, or when we signed them. And then you see him get on the field. And you go, well, he can't snap and shotgun. That's a little bit of a problem. How's he doing over there? Well, he's struggling to snap and shotgun. Okay. Can they block at least? Okay, blocking it up. Jervon Dexter is killing him. Okay, all right. Well, maybe there's not that. We don't have that right there. Okay, maybe Ryan Bates could. Nope, he's struggling right there. We're gonna put him back at guard. Oh, is Nate Davis out there? Nate Davis is practicing. We got an. Oh, nope, he's out. Okay, Nate Davis ain't out there no more. Teven Jenkins made it all the way through. He's having a great training. Oh, did he hurt himself stretching this more? Okay, I saw that. All right, cool. Yeah, tell me. Y'all tell me, is there a position right now on the offensive line that you feel you have at center? Greg B says Shelton is a better center spot than last year. At what? Coleman Shelton has also struggled in camp with the same things that Lucas Patrick and Cody Whitehair struggled at camp with and during the season. Maybe you upgraded in run blocking, but Cody Whitehair was a solid run blocking center. Right tackle. Right tackle was the same right tackle as last year. You hope he got better. I think he got better. He's dealing with some injury as well. But it's the same guys. I didn't leave last season feeling like I had a question at right tackle. I felt like I had an answer. I still feel like I have an answer. Jay Capone said nada. Nope. The wide receiver room is ready, which I agree with. Listen, I'm not sitting here. This is not the Ryan Poles is trash stream. This is not the Ryan Poles hasn't done enough stream. Well, I guess it kind of is that. This is not the Ryan Poles hasn't improved the team stream, should I say. This is the Chicago Bears have certain things that they just refuse to learn from stream. A hodgepodge of offensive linemen that you've kind of put together, a refusal to play these guys in training camp, a refusal to make these guys get out on the practice field, like this is why we started last season with a false start. This is why your first play versus Green Bay, set hut, whistle, flag. This is the reason that we're having this same kind. I did this stream already. I didn't have to redo. The only reason I had to redo this stream is because I got a beard now and names changed. That's the only reason. I did this stream last year in training camp. I did this stream the year before last year. I've done this stream every season where I go, I don't know about this offensive line, what we got here. I got some concerns, guys. And every year must go, oh, you're worried about nothing. We don't need to worry about that. That's not going to be an issue. They'll have it together by the time the season gets here. And every year we have the same conversation. And then we look at the quarterback and we say, why can't you fix it? I'm just ready for a different conversation. I'm ready to have some kind of answers. And you just don't at the offensive line position. By the way, which is probably the most important part for you to have. And I get it. Maybe you are building this in a Joey B kind of way. Maybe you are building this right how they tried to rebuild this Chiefs team a couple of times. Or maybe you are building it in that way. But on the one hand, you better hope dang sure that Caleb Williams is as they've said, and I've refused to say about him to this point, you better pray he's a generational talent. You better pray he's one of the best quarterbacks that you're going to see over the next 20 years. And on the flip side of that, you better pray that he doesn't end up like Joey B, who is one of those guys. But is so always getting killed every play that he can't find a way to stay on the field. The offensive line concerns remain for me, man. And I want to see him improve. I'm tired of having these same conversations. I'm tired of seeing this same thing put together. But hey, we'll see kind of what the Bears end up doing. I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on where this team is at with the offensive line. Let me know your thoughts on where you feel this. Do you feel like this team has improved on the offensive line? Do you not? Like I said, let me know in the comments below. Some other notables from today. Montez Sweat didn't end up practicing. You did see him running up the hill, conditioning with Bears strength and conditioning coach Jim Arthur, but he did not end up practice today. Caleb's best throw today was probably a pass to DJ Moore down the right sideline for a touchdown to 7-on-7. They had Terrell Smith in coverage on that. The situation period was ugly all around. You had a hold from Bill Murray on Javon Dexter. There was a fumbled snap with Ryan Bates at center. Roschon runs it up the middle. He got a pass out to DJ Moore. Caleb Williams ended up getting ruled down on a scramble. Didn't seem like he was too happy about getting ruled down on that, but that's fine. Incomplete pass to Colin Johnson. You had and then an incomplete pass on the right side intended for Keenan Allen. Not a great practice one way or the other. Kind of a struggle from both sides. Bears will be off tomorrow. So coming back on the flip side of this, you'll see them back Tuesday. I'll be back out there Tuesday and be able to, be able to give some more eval on where this team is at. And then I think our practice today next week is let me check. Let me double check. Because I always I go to my website to make sure that I know when it is. So nothing tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be out there for practice. Friday, no practice, of course. And then the preseason game this week is Saturday at 12 p.m. They will be taking on the Bills. And for the love of God, put them out there. For the love of God, don't you dare put them out there for a series. They need time together. Whatever this group that you're putting together is. And there's a lot of time from now until practice on Saturday. So hopefully you get some bodies back out there. But whatever this group is, figure it out, put them out there. To me, give them a quarter. Give them a quarter. Let them figure each other out. Let them figure out where they're at right now. Let them try and find some answers on the field versus real competition. That's what I want to see this team do. I'm tired of sitting here saying, "Oh, we had a good practice. We had some good reps. We had Matt Eberflus, Matt Nagy. Everybody's saying the same thing, and yet when the game time gets here, it's cheeks." Go out there versus Buffalo and show me that you've got a team that actually can figure some things out, and let them figure it out with their starting quarterback back there as well. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear it's preseason. It doesn't matter. I don't want to hear, oh, the Chiefs don't play anybody. The Patriots don't play anybody. The Colts don't play. I don't care what they do. We're the ones that had 2 top 10 picks last year. Not one. The one we get from Carolina, I'm here for that. 2 top 10 picks. Which means you're still one of the top 10 worst teams in the NFL, no matter how much we improved. Put them out there. Let them see. Like, let's stop pretending like we've won a Super Bowl in the last 30 years. Please. Let's stop acting like we're running Walter Payton and Jim McMahon and guys who have played together out there. Please. Let's stop that. But hey, let me know you guys' thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys tuning in, showing love. I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's a Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your time off. Enjoy your day with the family. Everybody get a couple drinks in for me before work tomorrow. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.